Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel that does to stupidity what Thor did to Thanos.
Perhaps I treated you too harshly. What did you do?
Today's subject of stupidity is someone who holds the record for the number of Flerfs are idiots episodes directed towards them, because they honestly say more dumb things than anybody else on the entire planet. There was episode 6 where he didn't understand how cameras worked and mistook a tree for a building. Episode 19 where he thought that eggs were magic. Episode 42 where he thought moonlight defied the second law of thermodynamics. Episode 43 where he thought that you could just turn off gravity. Episode 34 where he thought the Titanic sinking was a scientific experiment. Episode 35 where he nominated himself for Dumb Fuck of the Year 2019. Episode 45, where he failed to debunk a physics teacher, you know, because he's dumb as fuck. And episode 51, where he got really confused by some more eggs. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's Sleeping Warrior. He spewed some more stupid onto the internet, and we're going to point and laugh at his complete ineptitude for episode 53 of Flerfs Are Idiots.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Thanks for joining me once again as we learn what happens when the brain fails to develop in the womb but somehow a child is still born. Anthony, Sleeping Warrior Riley...
I'm a dumb flat earther.
Yeah, that guy somehow manages to get himself dressed in the morning without killing himself and scrape together the mental power required to vomit a humanity IQ lowering load of idiocy onto the internet. This time he gets confused by planes and the earth rotating and tying his shoelaces.
This is a video about Coriolis effect. It's one of those confusing topics that Flerfs deliberately obfuscate to make it sound confusing. They want you to be confused by the end of the conversation so that you don't really know and you default back to, oh well, maybe the earth is turning because I didn't understand that.
So the problem is it's confusing to you. You don't understand it, so claim it's complicated when we try to explain it. And why might that be?
I'm a dumb flat earther.
Oh yeah, you did say.
It's very, very simple. On screen I've put on the west and the east to indicate the direction of rotation, and we are told that the earth rotates from the west to the east because the sun rises in the east and it sets in the west, therefore the earth is rotating from the west to the east, and that's the way you can see it on screen.
I just want everyone to take a moment to realise that him putting east and west on the correct sides of the screen might be the first thing he ever got right. I'm pretty sure that isn't going to continue though.
As you can imagine, planes flying over the Earth are meant to be suffering the effects of Earth rotation underneath them. That is the claim of the Coriolis effect.
And there it is. I actually think this video might contain too much stupid for me to deal with on my own. I'm going to need to call in some help. Oh, hey, Cats.
Hello, mate. How you doing? You okay?
I'm doing good, thanks, mate. Could you have a look at something for me?
Yeah, I can do that. I can watch. So you want me to watch a video by who is it?
You know, Sleeping Warrior.
Did he just say? Never call me again.
Cats? Hello? I think I'll just have to do this on my own.
The Coriolis effect is the apparent deflection caused by the Earth rotating underneath the plane.
No, it isn't. Nothing about the Coriolis says that the Earth should deflect underneath the plane as it's travelling through the atmosphere. You know, the atmosphere. The thing it uses to create lift. The thing that is also rotating with the Earth. Just because your simplistic view of the Coriolis force is, thing leave ground, Earth turn under, doesn't mean it's even remotely correct. Just means that you're a fucking idiot.
Now, Wolfie6020 doesn't know. He doesn't tell people that the Earth doesn't show this. He tells people that you wouldn't expect to see Earth rotation. And everybody else on the Flerfs side believes that that's the position. They think that explaining why you don't see apparent deflection explains away why Earth-based Coriolis isn't a thing.
Excuse me, the fuck did you just say?
First off, no one on the side of sanity and reality says that the Earth-based Coriolis isn't a thing. In fact, it's one of the best evidence of Earth's rotation. Unfortunately, you window-licking morons haven't a clue what Coriolis actually is. Unlike Wolfie 6020, of course, who is an actual pilot.
Obviously, that is incorrect. Earth has got to rotate underneath the planes, otherwise we're not expected to see Coriolis effect. It doesn't apply to Earth.
I mean, you keep saying the word Coriolis.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Now, here we see a demonstration with the planes flying over the Earth whilst the Earth is in motion. And as you can see, as we get to the Pacific Ocean to demonstrate the point, we're going to pick on Hawaii somewhere in the middle, and you can see the planes that are flying towards Hawaii. Hawaii is coming towards the plane as well, so they're flying towards Hawaii, but Hawaii is coming towards the plane. That's significantly quicker than if you're flying towards Hawaii from the other side, because you're chasing Hawaii, and you're not going against the Earth rotation, you're fighting the Earth rotation because you're trying to catch it up.
So, what you're saying is you haven't a clue how planes work? Like at all? So, according to you, if the Earth is rotating and we stood next to a wall and jumped, if we're at the equator, we should expect to slam into that wall at 1,000 miles an hour. Under the same logic, if I was inside a plane that is moving and I get up to use the bathroom, I'm going to slam into the back wall of that plane at 500 miles an hour, and all the air stewards are superhumans. Well, considering we know that the world is rotating and there is a lack of people-shaped ketchup stains on walls all over the world, we can only conclude that you, Sleeping Warrior, have some kind of brain injury.
So it's obvious the position. The position is if the Earth is rotating the way we're told, flights towards the east must be longer. Flights towards the west must be shorter.
And your IQ must be negative. Look at this video of the guy on a trampoline being pulled by a tractor. Does the guy just stay where he is and the tractor shoot off underneath him at 30 miles an hour? No, because conservation of momentum is a thing. The main thing that impacts the speed of travel times east and west is the trade winds. Depending on if the plane is travelling in the easterlies or the westerlies, it will affect the time taken to travel. The winds between 30 and 60 degrees latitude travel from west to east, so will increase flight times to the west, and in equatorial regions you have the easterlies, otherwise known as the trade winds, that go from east to west and make air travel to the east slower. These effects are all due to the Earth's rotation and are predicted effects.
Because the Earth is supposed to be turning underneath the plane. If they argue that the conservation of momentum means that they can negate the expectation of Earth-based Coriolis, then there is no Coriolis effect. We've got to see that apparent deflection. Okay? It's very simple. They'll use every weaseling wiggling book, every weaseling tactic in the book to try and demonstrate why we do not see.
But we do expect to see Earth-based Coriolis. And we do see it, just, not in the way that you expect to see it, because you don't know what Coriolis is and your intellectual capacity is so low I doubt you'll ever learn what it is. But, let's try. Off you go, numbnuts. The remedial classroom awaits. Okay, everyone, sit down and stop talking. In fact, I would really like it if none of you ever talk to... Oh, fuck's sake, what? What do you want? You're right, there is some people missing. Let's do a roll call. Flat Earth Aussie Jesus, Mind of God, Quantum Eraser, Huey, pay attention and take those crayons out of your mouth. No, I don't care if you're hungry. Sleeping Warrior, yeah, of course you're here, you're always here. Mr. Ranty's doing a special project with Professor Cat, so he isn't here. Miss Thompson? Miss Thompson? No, Miss Thompson? Miss Thompson's clone? No? Does anybody know where Thompson and Whitsitt are? What do you mean they're doing a countrywide holiday? During a pandemic? Without any masks? Well, they're screwed because you can bet they're using flat Earth maps. Alright, let's just get on with this, shall we? What is the Coriolis effect? Well, it's not the Earth rotating underneath something, like a flat earther would want you to believe. The Coriolis effect is caused by the fact the Earth is rotating, and it imparts certain effects on objects that are freely moving. Here is an example. Someone at the equator fires a mortar shell north. At the point the mortar shell was fired, the shell had a tangential speed to the east of around 1,000 miles an hour. Same as everything else at the equator, including the atmosphere. As the shell travels north, it moves over an area of the Earth that has a slower tangential velocity than the point it left from. The shell, however, due to the law of conservation of momentum, maintains its 1,000 miles an hour to the east whilst moving over an area with a lower tangential velocity. This means that the shell will deflect ahead of the rotation. This means that there's been acceleration to the east acting on a mass, so we can calculate the Coriolis force. The important thing is that the shell was moving on a rotating sphere. It won't happen if something just hovers, so a hot air balloon and a drone will rotate with the Earth and not experience any Coriolis. Now, is an airplane subject to these forces? Well, yes, of course. Whether flying north to south or vice versa, which would apply a force moving the plane ahead or behind of the rotation, or east to west or west to east, where a force would be applied towards or away from the sky. But the thing is, the force is tiny, and airplanes have massive fucking engines that negate that comparatively small force. Why do you all have such blank faces? Oh yeah, you're all fucking idiots. Get out! I hate my life.
Now what I'm going to present to you is a back and forth that happened live on a Discord server debate thing that was being rebroadcast on YouTube. And this happens time and time again. I see it many, many times. It's only 10 clips. Without further ado, let's progress.
Demonstrable proof of Earth's rotation. Orlando to Manchester is 7 hours and 50 minutes, and the return, Manchester to Orlando, is 9 hours 25 minutes.
And can I just check, which way does Earth rotate? East to west or west to east?
East. And that is all Coriolis is.
So Earth is rotating to the west, then?
What the guy you were talking to was on about was the fact that we have trade winds, which, on the flights he mentioned, make flying to the east slower. Due to the Hadley cell, winds in these regions flow towards the equator and towards the west, and while the winds in the latitudes above them go east and towards the poles, again because of the Earth's rotation. Ignorance of facts is not evidence against them, Riley.
Flight time is faster east and with the rotation than against it.
It should be slower when flying east, as you are chasing the Earth turn. Oops, haha.
No, Riley, you don't chase the countries if you're travelling east, because the atmosphere that the plane is using also travels to the east at the same speed as the country that you think you are chasing. Helicopters and hot air balloons could just hover and wait for the Earth to turn underneath it, and the destination would arrive like waiting for a train at a station. But that's not how it works. At all. You're a fucking idiot.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Okay, quick recap. His last comment said, because to wrap this all up, all flights east and with the rotation of the Earth is faster, yet we can clearly see that if the Earth is rotating from the west to the east and flights are heading west, it's going to be faster, and east, it's going to be slower because of Earth rotation.
Well, in this case, both of you were wrong. He was wrong because flight times depend on where they are flying, in the easterlies or the westerlies. And you, Sleeping Warrior, are wrong because the Earth doesn't magically rotate underneath us as soon as we leave the fucking ground.
No, when you're chasing the destination or heading east, it must take longer if Earth is turning with you. Your example was quicker though. You have it the wrong direction for Earth turn, buddy. You have the eastbound flight faster when it should be slower if Earth is turning under the plane.
Sleepy, we can see that you've written haha. You really don't need to say it. We aren't all as dumb as you are.
So as we can see again, just to make the position really clear, it's really easy to jump on the bandwagon and take a piss out of this guy. But let's just be clear, all the flights that we can chase around the Earth, none of them support the Earth rotating from the west to the east. Because as you can see, as you're flying towards Hawaii, Hawaii is coming towards you. And as you're flying, if you're going from America, but if you're going from Japan, you're chasing Hawaii. You're chasing it, so it has to take longer.
No, you colossal dumbass. You don't chase countries. They aren't running away from you. Earth turns. It's been measured. Don't be a fucking idiot. So Riley's been destroyed again, and frankly that's all the stupid that I can take for today. Now, just before I go, I would like to give a massive shout out to all my members and patrons. Your support allows me to do what I love to do, debunking idiots on the internet. If you'd like to join the team, then you can become a patron at patreon.com/FTFE, or hit the join button down there next to the subscribe button to become a member. All patrons and members get access to the patron and member only Discord, and top level supporters can contact me for some free merch. And thank you. Thank you for watching. If you've enjoyed, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss anything from FTFE. And remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth. Fight the flat, 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 fight the flat.